Hi, I'm Mike from PokeTips, and yesterday a lot of new information was revealed about Pokemon Sword and Shield, including Dynamax. Dynamax is a brand new mechanic that supersizes your Pokemon, making them giant Godzilla-sized versions of themselves. In addition to getting bigger, they also get a nice power bonus, but it only lasts for about 3 turns. As far as we know right now, Dynamax can only be used in certain areas of the game, like the wild area and gym battles. However, there's still so much that we don't know about this new mechanic, like can you Dynamax Mega Evolved Pokemon? Or if you Dynamax a Ditto and it transforms, will it stay giant or will it shrink down to copy the other Pokemon? Or can Ditto transform into a Dynamax Pokemon and become giant that way? While I'm sure we'll get answers to those questions and many more soon enough, it really got me thinking about what Pokemon I want to see Dynamax. As of right now, it seems like every Pokemon in Sword and Shield will be able to become a giant version of itself with Dynamax, so I made a list of 10 Pokemon that I cannot wait to see Dynamax in Sword and Shield. And since I mentioned Godzilla before, I think it's only fitting for the first Pokemon on my list to be Tyranitar. Also, fun fact, did you know Tyranitar is only 6 foot 7 inches tall, 2 meters? Whenever I saw a picture of Tyranitar, I always thought it was a massive Pokemon, but in real life, if we had Tyranitar, it would only be a little bit taller than I am. Tyranitar is definitely one of the Pokemon I am the most excited to see Dynamax in Sword and Shield, because it looks like a monster, it's based off Godzilla. Godzilla, as we all know, is this giant thing that stomps on buildings, so we finally get an accurate representation of that in the Pokemon games. Should be pretty cool. Also, I don't think it'll be too hard to do this, since we know we can catch Tyranitar in the wild area, so it's probably going to be a Pokemon that Dynamaxes during the story or during one of those raids. Now moving on to a Pokemon that I think is just going to be ridiculous to Dynamax, I want to see Wailord Dynamax in Sword and Shield. Wailord is apparently almost 48 feet tall or wide, I'm not sure exactly how they measure it, but 48 feet or 14.5 meters, which makes this thing a massive Pokemon. Like, I mean massive. I actually saw a pretty funny picture on Reddit earlier today where they show a Dynamaxed Wailord being bigger than the Earth. I think it's just going to be ridiculous seeing this giant Pokemon get even bigger, and I hope the scaling in Sword and Shield really does it justice. I know in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Pokemon like Onix, they looked massive compared to other Pokemon, so I can't wait to see what Wailord looks like on the Switch, as well as seeing it get even bigger. It might just take up the whole screen, who knows. Also, peep this new PokeTips shirt that my girlfriend got done for me. It looks awesome. Maybe merch coming soon. Who knows? But anyway, continuing the trend of talking about giant Pokemon, another massive Pokemon already that I want to see become even bigger with Dynamax is the Lowland Executor. This Pokemon is apparently almost 36 feet tall or 10.9 meters, which is insane. Whenever we see this in-game or like in the anime or anything, it's always depicted as this giant Pokemon. You can't even see its head. So what would happen if you make a Pokemon that's 36 feet tall, Dynamax? You know those stadiums that they keep showing off in the trailer? I really hope they don't have roofs. But then on the other side of the spectrum, I want to see a tiny Pokemon like Joltik Dynamax. Now, Joltik is only 4 inches tall, or 0.1 meters, so it's a very, very small Pokemon. Maybe if it Dynamaxes, we'll actually be able to see it. And while we're talking about small little Pokemon, Magikarp is another one that I just want to see Dynamax. We've already seen Gyarados Dynamax, and you know, it's a Gyarados. It looks threatening, it looks cool, but come on, I want to see a giant Magikarp flopping around. Now, for longtime fans of the Pokemon anime, and I'm talking about way back in the day watching the original series, you might remember an episode called Mystery at the Lighthouse, which featured a giant Dragonite. It's kind of cool looking back on this now, realizing that there were giant Pokemon way back in the day, and this whole new Dynamax mechanic could explain why there was a giant Dragonite out of nowhere in that episode. Dragonite's already a pretty tall Pokemon, coming in at 7 foot 3 inches tall, or 2.2 meters, which actually kind of surprises me. I would think Tyranitar would be bigger than this thing, but I would also think Tyranitar would be bigger than a lot of things. Anyway, it's a pretty big Pokemon, and the whole nostalgia value that I get out of seeing a giant one in the games will be pretty cool for me, and I'm pretty excited to see Dragonite Dynamax. Next, I kind of have 2 Pokemon here because they're basically the same thing, Voltorb and Electrode. I just personally think it'll be kind of funny seeing the Pokeball Pokemon come out of a Pokeball, go onto the field, and become a massive Pokeball. Pokeball, Pokeball, Pokeball. Also, another bonus out of seeing these Pokemon get massive is seeing them explode! I know some moves do get changed up when you Dynamax and you get like super powered versions of them, but I'm hoping they keep some sort of explosion because come on, who wouldn't want to see a giant Pokemon explode? Coming in at number 9, I would actually like to see a Typhlosion out of all things Dynamax. Now this might seem totally random, but for me it actually has a lot of nostalgia. Because back in the day, my first ever Pokemon game was Pokemon Gold version, and my first ever starter was Cyndaquil. So seeing the final evolution of Cyndaquil become massive on the big screen, it's just kind of sentimental for me. A lot of starter Pokemon have special Z moves or Mega Evolutions, and the Johto starters really didn't get anything, so seeing them get massive, you know, it's something. It's definitely something. And last but not least, the god of all Pokemon, Arceus, would be something insane to see Dynamax. So Arceus is actually 10 feet 6 inches tall or 3.2 meters, which is a lot bigger than I thought it was, and once again, way bigger than Tyranitar, but it's the god of all Pokemon. So seeing that thing get big in the stadium, it would probably intimidate everybody out there watching the battle, and they'd probably want to leave. I wouldn't blame them. If the god of all Pokemon got massive in front of me, I would probably leave too. I'm also kind of interested to see if Arceus Dynamaxes and it's holding a plate, will it change color depending on what plate it's holding? Again, I have so many oddly specific questions about Dynamax, and I'm sure a lot of them are not going to get answered at all until I actually have the game in my own hands to try this stuff out, but it gives me something to look forward to. So my friends, that's my list of 10 Pokemon that I would like to see Dynamax in Sword and Shield. In the comment section, tell me what Pokemon you want to see Dynamax. There are over 800 different Pokemon, so a list of 10 really can't do them all justice. So again, in the comment section, let me know what you want to see Dynamax. As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.